What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, sitting here with my boy Homer real quick. And this video is mainly just to answer some of the questions from No Name Nationals 2024 regarding my boy Homer. If you remember watching the video, or if you haven't watched the video, make sure to go check it out. It's pretty gnarly. But during Homer's run, when I'm absolutely fully foot to the floor, actually through the floor and onto the ground, my boy Homer's stacks here got cherry red. He was smoking and spitting and throwing water and oil and everything everywhere. Well, I received multiple messages and multiple comments regarding some of his stack tubes possibly going cold. Thought that maybe that we had lost the water pump, that there was pieces of engine shooting out of my stacks and out into the woods, so on and so forth. So I figured we would kind of dig into Homer a little bit today, kind of look him over, see what, may or may not be wrong. I'm also going to address the issue for the reason I had to stop at the beginning of the burnout and make some adjustments. I'll show everybody what that's all about. And then we'll kind of just dig into overall whether or not Homer's good to go. Now, at the end of the day, I already know the answer to this question, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. So let's get after it. This is Busted Radio Garage. All right, guys. So generally what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to kind of give you an overview real quick. So Homer hasn't had anything done to him since we left Sykeston. He's still wrapped. Stacks are still wrapped. Hat's still wrapped. I mean, just to show you, I could take his belt off with my hand. He's dirty. I mean, we've played around in the dust a little bit, drew stick figures and all that kind of jazz. But anyway, this is all just where my radiator cap failed. And it just blew water everywhere. Homer got to about 250 degrees. I mean, you can see water remnant here, water remnant there, all down the engine, splattered up here, up the windshield. And then over here in his overflow tank, I mean, you can see where it was shooting out the hole here, where it was shooting out the relief hose down here. I mean, he got hot and he wasn't happy. But anyway, he'll get over it. So then here, where we had some oil, it's a wonder he didn't catch fire, but this got super hot. So this little valve cover grommet is melted. I'm assuming from the stacks, and then of course, the breather cap, it has no secure position there at all. So oil was just running out. As you can see, it's caked. All of my heat protection here for the spark plug wire. It's all running down the block, down the oil pan, so on and so forth. Now, what I want to address, and I'm going to put some video of Homer's run in here. We got about 10-15 seconds into Homer's run, and he was on fire. He was a chooching now, and then went pop, he started to just fall on his face. Now, there was rumors going on that was out of gas and the engine had already blew and something catastrophic happened, which were, reasonable claims, right? But let me show you the problem we had with Homer. And this has been a reoccurring problem, and I'm going to address it when we do his rebody and switch his engine over. I'm going to remove this bolt, and I'm going to ultimately stud it. Okay? So here, let me spin you around real quick and show you. Let me get my handy dandy flashlight out. Okay. So here is all of Homer's wiring right here. MSD box, ground wire, starter wire, other ground wires, so on and so forth. Well, that all leads to a bolt, which is right there. Okay? Now, during the nut and bolt test or run through on the car, we had tightened that bolt. It's not the first time it's ever come loose. So during the drive down to the pad and then 20 seconds into his run, that bolt had done come loose again. And I was kind of hoping it would stay. I had blue Loctite on it, shouldn't have went anywhere. I guess it just got hot and just didn't hold. So I yelled into the crowd, anybody got an adjustable wrench? And my boy Lars and Dirty Hippie both run out there to the rescue. We got him dialed in and he went on through his run, no problem. But once the engine got cooled down and we wanted to take Homer back to my trailer, well, guess what? The bolt was loose again. So, lesson learned. We are going to eliminate that problem. We are going to stud it. We are going to get proper bolt, proper Loctite, lock washer, whatever we got to do to fix that from happening again. So anyway, so now that that's handled, you know, once we pulled off, got him back, I mean, we drove him back to the trailer. You know, he was steaming hot, but he went back there. We put water in him. We refreshed the oil. Oil looked really good, although it was really hot. So the viscosity in that oil is, we're going to have to change it and get rid of it. But Homer ran like a champ. Got him home, got him into the shop. Everything still looks good. So what I'm going to do now, real quick, is I'm going to pull all the plugs. We're going to check that, see if the plugs are okay, which it should be, and we'll kind of go from there and narrow it down. But if I'm being 100% honest, I really don't think anything is wrong, other than he needs a good oil change, he needs fresh water, he may need some fresh plugs, which I'm kind of leaning to no, and then he just needs everything tightened back up and good to go. Now, what I'm going to do, as anybody would do, when I tear him all back down to rebody him, I'm going to take him up to Calvert Racing Engines, who you guys hear me plug all the time, and we're just going to have him looked at, right? There's no sense in putting all this time and money into him over the winter just to go to the Freedom Factory in April. That's our first opening year event every year, and then something go catastrophically wrong. But I just want to kind of go through with everybody because there was a lot of concern, right? Even since we pulled out, I had no less than 20 people come over and said, something shot out of your stacks. I don't know what that could have been, but in the video you're going to see that I'm going to attach here, whether you've watched it already or you're going to see it now, depending where I place it in the video. Homer was chooching. I mean, he was just pop, 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 pop. I mean, the rev limiter was just on fire. Also, something else I want to show you. Here, check this out. Some of you have seen this down at the show, but if you look way up in there, let's see if I can get it down far enough. Right there where that little bolt is, that's Homer's burst panel. And you heard me telling you about the fancy gasket material we use between the intake and the blower. His burst panel, as you see in the video, pops out probably 20 times. So Homer was kicking out the boost. I mean, he was just right now like all the onions and throwing a couple radishes, if that makes sense. So we're definitely going to be replacing that gasket, but the burst panel worked as it should. The boost got up so high that it pushed the springs out. It released a little bit of boost. The springs pushed the panel back. We continued that process over and over and over again during the whole run, rather than destroying the engine or the blower itself. So the burst panel, when we adjusted it a couple videos back, remember when it was a quarter turn out, we tightened up the springs 1/4 turn exactly, and we put it back, and that panel worked flawlessly at No Name. What do we got going on back there? You all see that later on. But anyway, let's get into these plugs. I mainly want to check plug number 2. That, I watched the videos everybody sent me and all the ones that are on YouTube, and believe me, there are a ton, an absolute ton of Homer videos on there from that event. So thank you to everybody promoting our boy. But I want to pull, you know, spark plug number 2 first and check that, because out of the videos that I've seen, that looked like the only possible cold tube coming off cylinder 2. So let's check that real quick. Hey, look, and I don't want to sound ungrateful when I'm doing this, because I'm very grateful that people were looking out for Homer and his engine during that show. So please don't take it that, like, I was upset people called out that something could have went wrong, because, you know, something could have went wrong. We never know, and I obviously couldn't see anything in that car there at the end. And so it's good to have other eyes on things. I know Homer was a chooching. I loved all the videos and pictures that people sent me with all the sparks flying out the back of the car, which was epic. I hope everybody loved this show. I thought Homer did really, really well. I'm not 100% sure what happened there at the end, but yeah, I don't know. But I thought Homer did really well, with the exception to the wire issue. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. All right, here's the number 2 cylinder. Homer was definitely running a little bit rich in that cylinder, but I don't see any damage to the plug. We'll ultimately check the oil to see if there's any bearing material or anything like that in there. Now, I want everybody to keep in mind, and those of you that are a little bit older here, or OG members of the channel, When we built Homer's engine, keep in mind that we spared no expense on the internals. We went forged rods, forged pistons, forged crank. We bought the absolute best of everything that we could get for Homer at that time. So this engine can take a heck of a lot of abuse. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Ultimately, we won't know the condition, the ultimate condition of the pistons or rings or any of that jazz until we get the engine apart, just to kind of freshen it up and look at it. But I know that the blower itself was probably pushing around 18 pounds of boost, which is right in its range. I think high end is 25, but we've got the pulleys switched over to drop that down, right? To try to stay around 18. Now my run at, where was we at? Indy, when we hit the wall, I actually broke the boost gauge off the back and I never did put it back on, I just plugged it. So I don't have an exact number, but I would say he's probably right around in the range as he was then, and that was about 18 PSI of boost. So, we'll just have to see when we get everything apart. But anyway, I don't see anything wrong with this plug. I'm not going to go too in depth with it. I mainly just wanted to show you the engine itself and kind of give you what we can see here. And we'll look over it again as soon as I can get my fat fingers in there and put this plug back in. But yeah, I think Homer's fine. I would start him up in here for you. And I actually can if that's what you want. I could probably do a burnout video once this hurricane leaves. But it is just straight getting it outside. And if I start him in here, you're not going to hear anything anyway. And Homer is done for the year. As soon as his new body gets here, we are going to start tearing him apart. Right now, I'm focusing a lot of my attention on the Monza. You know, the VG Monza. We're going to call it the Mo Monza, I think, unless somebody can come up with a different name. If you want to suggest a name for that Monza, it's going to be a Mopar-driven Monza. And a lot of people in the comments are putting Mo Monza. So if you've got another name, put it out there. I just wanted to include the Anza or Monza somewhere in it. But that plug looks stellar. I'm going to look at these wires real quick, but I had them pulled way back, so they should be okay. I don't see any burn marks, or one of them could have got a little cooked. Yeah. Now this could be an issue too. I'm going to bring you in. Okay, I just seen this right here. Cylinder number 4 has actually burnt all the way through. I'm not sure how well you can see that. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, there we go. So that wire is plumb burnt through, and you can actually see the metal. So that may have been arcing against the header. These two are pulled way back. That didn't even scar the sheathing, so I know we're good there. Blower straps appear to be okay. I know that this grommet is toast 100% for sure. Transmission and torque converter are mint Cope Racing transmissions. I cannot praise them enough. John has totally knocked this thing out of the park. We may even send that back to him and just have it freshened up and looked at in the off season. But the rest of it's just ugly. I mean, he just got hot. He just got dirty. That breather is definitely where the oil was coming from. This is definitely from the radiator cap. Let me check the rest of these over here. See, none of these got close enough to get hot. There's like a 2-inch gap there. I mean, it didn't even get the sheathing here. So these wires are all good. Linkage all fared well. I think the main problem here was just he got hot, which is understandable. And you guys understand that when I get in, whether it's at No Name, whether it's at Garrett's, whether it's something with Tom Bailey, it doesn't matter. If I'm doing a charity event at Advance or AutoZone or up the street just farting around with myself, Homer goes to the floor. Everything I can give him. If my engines explode, if you've been here more than 2 minutes, you know I do not care. I want the crowd to get the best bang for their buck, even if that means Homer goes boom. I truly mean that. I don't care. So, you know, I just want to say I appreciate all the support from 2024 going into 2025. If you're there to support me in 2025, I appreciate that as well. But Homer's fine. I mean, I'll drain the oil and stuff once I get some more here. To be honest, I just don't have a lot here, and I don't want to leave him empty. But yeah, Homer's golden. I'll go ahead and show you some of the damage that he suffered from No Name. We got into that dirt, and we plumb took out the rest of what bottom quarter panel he had. It's just gone. We lost this entire section. John and Lars found a piece of trim, and then we found, I still got that zip tied. We found a piece of this in the trash can somebody had picked up. It's plumb ruined. It'll just go in the trash. And then this is plumb bent up underneath and toe up from the flow up. And then here's one of the wheels from No Name, and the other one, oh no, I lied to you. They're both over here from, excuse me, it is raining. My shop's starting to flood, just mainly because of groundwork out there. We're getting ready for the new shop, but that's neither here nor there. So here's what's left of the one wheel. I even ruined the wheel. And here's what's left of the other. You know, just mainly the bead section and some of the skin. But these were both 1970s model bias ply snow tires. And you can see this was the main drive wheel. And this was like, you know, the other wheel's spinning and just not as fast, I guess. Or just the way I was driving around, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's toast. And here's actually this piece of metal that Lars and them found. So that's trash. And there's one of the trim pieces there, completely trashed. But yeah, Homer is good to go. I cannot wait to show you this. This is epic. And then depending when this video comes out, we've got a video coming out on the new drag car. We got some stuff coming out on Hot Mess before long. But yeah, I can't wait to get to tearing him apart. We've had a few people request like pieces of Homer when we rebody him. We'll figure that out. But yeah, he's good to go. I think I'm just gonna leave him wrapped up until we can get up and I can get some new race oil. And once we get this all tore out, we'll polish this all up and clean it back up. We've got an idea for these stacks for 2025. Oh, you know what? Well, this isn't gonna matter because that Hemi's going in here. I'm not sure if I don't know what we're gonna do here with this. So we may put it in another car. We may put it in there, but we've kind of got something already started. May just put it on a stand and find something to put in. I really don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to jump in here and again, kind of give you a breakdown on what Homer is. He's fine. I don't see anything really wrong with him. We're gonna have him looked at while he's tore apart. And again, I just want to tell everybody, thank you from Kathy Squirt and myself for support through 2024. Hopefully all into 2025 and beyond. Because I promise you, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here until I'm in the dirt. And after I'm in the dirt, hopefully Squirt has the passion to take on what I leave behind. So anyway, I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching all year. We're going to be here. We got a lot going on this winter, and I'm hopefully you're here for the ride. Anyway, appreciate you again. BRG out.